I like the fact that Ben Affleck, his character just doesn't give a fuck. He wears sweatpants and then like nice collared t-shirts.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Movie Toast podcast. I'm here with Dennis.
Hey, Toasters.
Tommy.
Hello, everybody.
And Adam.
Je m'appelle Adam.
And we're coming at you with 4 new movies.
So I watched a movie that when I saw a trailer, I pretty much came in my pants because it was made for me. This is an exploitation-style movie called VFW. It stars Stephen Lang, William Sadler, Fred Williamson, a bunch of other people, George Wendt, just a bunch of people. So it's about pretty much...
Where did he go?
I think he went to Cheers to get another drink. But I don't know. So pretty much this is kind of in the future, kind of not. They say it's slightly in the future, but it's pretty much modern day. There's drugs are running rampant. There's this new type of drug, and in this small town, there is a guy that runs this abandoned movie theater that looks like a giant warehouse, kind of. He pretty much has all these drugs and all these people who are like just junkies, always there trying to buy drugs, and it's a weird place to hang out. So pretty much this one girl runs up to the main guy, and she wants to get a vial of stuff. And then he's like, oh, you want this? They're up on, like, the main floor. And he's like, how bad do you want it? And she's like, I really want it. He fucking throws the vial over the fucking banister, and she pretty much jumps and plunges to her death.
Jeez.
Then we see...
What is this movie called?
VFW.
VFW.
I don't know why I thought you said BMX. Okay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
it's the BMX Bandits. Very, very dark term for these guys. And then after that happens, we see 2 older gentlemen. One driving. It's what's his face? Stephen Lang's driving. He picks up Fred Williamson, and they're just talking, shooting the shit. These are 2 veterans, and we find out that it's one of their birthdays. And they get to the VFW. They set up. Other guys come in. They're all drinking. Everyone's having a good time, and they're like, hey, you remember back when we were at this USO show? Miss 1963 was doing a show. Well, turns out she has a daughter, and she's a stripper, and she's having a show tonight at midnight. We're going to take you to the titty bar. And he's like, I don't care about that, but sure, let's go. And so they made those plans. But then we jump back to the fucking movie theater right across the street from the VFW. This girl comes in and sees the dead girl just sitting there. So this girl's been sitting there for at least 30 minutes, and she freaks out, and she's pissed off. And we're like, I don't know what the relationship is here. It turns out it's her sister. So she looks up, she sees the bad guy. He's still looking down, laughing, and having a good time. Clearly, she knows this guy was in on it. And so she goes to like the office of the theater, and there's just so happens to be all his drugs wrapped up in a nice couple like 4 or 6 packages in a safe that's wide open. So she takes it all and tosses it in her bag. And they find out, and they see her run across the street to the VFW. This one guy that's out front smoking weed because they won't let him smoke inside comes in. He's like, there's this girl. And this girl just rushes in there. She has it all in a backpack. She rushes in there. And then fucking these 2 goons come running in, and they start shit. Like one just takes an axe right to this fucking guy that was smoking weed right through his shoulder blade, and then fucking Stephen Lang, like you just see, bam! Stephen Lang blows his fucking head out with a shotgun, and this is over the top violence and brutality. It's fucking awesome. I'm like, oh, we're on a wild ride now. So pretty much, it's all about now. They got to get to this girl, and these war veterans are ready to kick some ass. And of course, there's different types of guys here and there, but they're all ready. They're good to go. And so they, like, sail up the doors. There's also one young veteran who just got back from war, and now he's grabbing a drink. So, yeah, they barricade themselves in, and then, like, we got to fight back. And we find out on the other side, that the guy that was – his head was blown off, that was the bad guy's brother. So he won't stop at nothing until everyone's dead. So pretty much throughout the night, these gang members are coming over, and they're all just getting fucking annihilated left and right, and we're losing some of our guys. And it's just over-the-top violence and action and cheesy. It has that old that look. And before all this happens, the electricity goes out in the whole bar, and there's just like a red look to the whole bar. It's on a generator that only has like a red light. So you're seeing all this shit in like a dark red room. And like there's montages of them like getting ready with all this shit. It's just a fucking crazy time. It's a B movie at its finest, and it's been a while since I've seen a good B movie. and I rented this at
Nice.
Redbox. Check it out. I'd say honestly, it's a green light in my book. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea,
Awesome.
but if you're that type of person, fucking see this movie.
It sounds fucking great. I am sold, Adam.
Any Tommy
Sounds-
tidbits on this?
It sounds outrageous.
There are 4 tidbits.
Can
Three
I
of them are
guess what 2 of them are?
3 of them are stinkers. Yeah, I guess. Go for it.
They shot this at a real VFW in Texas.
Yes.
The director's fucking in the movie theater. He has a poster for his previous movie up.
Brain scan.
Yeah, and one of the stinkers.
Well, the
Those
poster
were the
outside the theater was a
stinkers.
stinker. The one I was going to tell you was that, the real VFW hall where they shot was in Grand Prairie, Texas, specifically post number 2494.
Yeah, they call that on the movie.
And they said several of the hall's real veterans appear as extras in the bar during the opening.
Awesome.
That's pretty badass.
And you want to know the stinker?
Stinkatize me, Captain.
So, although it's never spoken on screen, Walter's army jacket and the end credits indicate that his surname is Reed, a reference to Walter Reed National Military Medical Center, one of the United States' most prominent military hospitals.
Nice.
And then the last one is on the list of features seen above the cinema. One of them is called Bliss. This is a reverent. Oh, yeah. That was the reference to his previous film, Bliss.
Sorry,
But
I
then
couldn't help
there's a-
myself. I checked out trivia earlier.
And then there's a brain scan poster on the wall outside the theater. And the
so 2 of
movie
his
brain
movies.
scan was in 1994.
Nice.
Cool.
Sorry, Corey, you were going to say something?
Movie sounds like outrageous fun for the whole family over the age of 17.
It is. I watched the making of, and it's just everyone like having a blast on set. Fucking, they're like, we go hard, we go all out. There's blood everywhere, and it turns out the
Nice.
director is also the cinematographer, so he gets right in there.
Oh,
Nice.
interesting. Just in your description, I definitely got some like Assault on Precinct 13 vibes. But it sounds like it's even more over the top than that.
I mean, I've never seen the original one, so I can't judge from that. I
Oh,
only saw
okay.
the remake. But yeah, no, it's kind of that vibe. Yeah, just set at a bar.
That's funny. I've only seen the original one. I've never seen the remake.
Maybe we should switch and do a Freaky Friday episode.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
Yeah, I got a lot of Assault on Precinct 13 vibes too, Dennis, when Adam was talking. Also, sounds like the Expendables stuck inside.
That's
Oh.
true.
Yeah.
Ooh, I would watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Like a
honestly like
raid.
this a lot more than the Expendables, and the fact that it's mainly
Nice.
set in one location was always fun.
I love
Nice.
isolated stories like that. It's interesting what you can when people try to figure out what to do in a small space.
It's a
or-
bitch. I tried doing it with a movie I want to make called Dr. Frankenstein's Anne. It's hard. I don't know how much you can do with trying to keep a Frankenstein away from Nazis.
Or
and
like, what about From
Frankenstein's,
Dusk Till Dawn?
Ooh, I love From Dusk Till
Ooh,
Dawn.
yeah.
But that has so much going on. You get the kidnapped family, hostages, and then fucking trade going down and the vampires. But okay, all right, now that you say that, there's one moment where I was waiting. This takes place at night when all the action goes down. And at one point they're like, we gotta be inside by sunrise. And I'm like, what the fuck happens at sunrise? I'm like, these guys just gotta last till sunrise. And it all finishes before sunrise. I thought maybe they'd be vampires, but
Oh,
never make it. I didn't know.
that's funny.
There you go. You thought it
That'd
was
be a
going to
twist.
be From Dusk Till Dawn. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, be a weird twist.
But for something that's totally different, I guess I'll go next. A couple weeks ago, we did an episode on basketball Ben Affleck, also known as
yeah.
The Way Back.
Which was the episode title of our podcast.
I
Yes.
still haven't seen it.
Don't watch this. I don't know who.
That was an Adam review, a movie toaster Adam review.
Adam, what did you say about this
I
movie?
said it was a green light. I honestly liked it. I told Tommy it was good, but it was nowhere near as amazing and award contentious as he thought it would be.
That's when it all started. We watched a trailer, or I watched a trailer, I think, for it, and then we watched the trailer for it, and I was like, watch, mark my words, guys, this is gonna win awards.
This movie fucking sucked.
No, can I just tell you my favorite part about the movie before you go? I like the fact that Ben Affleck, his character just doesn't give a fuck. He wears sweatpants and then like nice collared t-shirts. He really gives you something to aim
Yeah.
for.
I only watched this movie for Ben Affleck. I like Ben Affleck. Not, necessarily for. I like him going all the way back to Good Will Hunting, and Argo, and
You didn't
I
like him in
liked,
any Kevin Smith movies?
I don't really. Yeah, that's
right,
a
fair
different
enough.
story for a different day.
Dogma.
But I liked what was that one gangster movie he did? They got
Live by Night or something?
yeah. I enjoyed that
Oh,
movie.
I never
yeah,
saw it.
I like
Was
that
it
movie
good?
too.
But so I
Yeah.
like Ben Affleck. He doesn't get enough respect. He gets a lot of shit.
Oh,
He
Batman
gets a
v
lot of
Superman?
bad. Yeah. Yes.
I liked it.
He never had a chance in that movie, man. That
Yeah.
was
He has picked some stinkers over the years.
Stickers.
he's talented, and I feel like he has bad luck.
True.
Or but this movie really fucking irritated the shit out of me. It's about Ben Affleck. He's drunk, and he starts coaching his Catholic high school's basketball team to like try to get over being drunk. And this movie just goes from there. That's how it begins. It's just a slow decline, and there's never any positive up. This movie, it ends. I'm going to spoil it. Don't go see this movie. First off, you find out that his kid died from cancer, and that he's divorced because he got drunk and threw away his wedding, his marriage, because his kid died from cancer, and they are like doing this weird friendship after divorce thing,
Yeah, that
and
was
she's
weird.
fucking another guy, and then they're like old best friends they used to hang out with. Because their kid had cancer in the hospital. It's got cancer again. And then he gets really drunk after he finds that out. He goes and crashes into a boat, and breaks into another person's house, and then gets the shit beat out of him. And he ends up on the street unconscious.
shit.
By the end of this movie, he gets fired from the basketball team. The end of this movie, basketball is so fucking irrelevant. It is unbelievable. He helps them get into the playoffs, but you don't find out if they won the playoffs. There might be some little voiceover thing that my mom picked up on when she watched it with me about them saying that they're going to win the playoffs. She picked that up. I don't know. I didn't hear that.
Well, he was
You
listening
don't
to them
see
on the
it.
radio playing.
Yeah, he was listening to
as
them
he
on the
played
radio.
basketball.
Yeah, as he played basketball. And then we do this slow pull out, and he's playing basketball because he never played basketball after he started drinking or whatever. It's like he's not with the team. He doesn't get back with them. We don't find out if they won. He's going to get his license suspended. He's got to go to jail. I mean, he did breaking and entering. He crashed into that fucking boat. Like, he still lost his job. Where is the bright side of this? That he's playing basketball on a beach? It's like,
I think it's supposed to just be like. I think it's supposed to be
that's
like
it.
real life. Shit doesn't
Yeah.
always work out for
Yeah,
us.
that's what it was like. It was like real life. I have a problem with movies that use like cancer and kids with cancer as a plot point unnecessarily, as like an emotional punch, because it's like such a cheap shot. And then if you're gonna have your story kind of not go anywhere, oh man, I just had this movie sucked. I had so many problems with this movie. Do not go see it. Ben Affleck is still amazing.
You know what I did like about it? They showcased San Pedro. I feel like you don't see too many movies in San Pedro, but that's irrelevant.
What a silver lining.
But all right, can I just say, I felt like this was his version of his brother Casey Affleck's movie, Manchester by the Sea, just not as good.
Yeah, it's totally the same movie with the same type of thing, and I didn't even like Manchester by the Sea, to be fully honest.
Stinker alert, here comes the cops.
I have a question. How did you view this movie?
What do you mean, how did I view
It's
this movie?
rentable for $20. You can rent it or buy it, I think.
Oh, yeah, I had to pay $20 to
And now
watch
you
it on
own it,
Prime.
right? I just
Yeah.
looked it up on Prime Video, so I wanted to make sure. So you just purchased a movie that you hated for $20. There's only 5 items of trivia for the way back, and 4 of them are stinkers.
Is the
Stinker
6th piece of
City.
trivia, this movie sucks massive cojones?
No, the one that I think isn't a stinker is what the movie's original title was going to be, and then they changed it to The Way Back.
Was it Basketball Ben Affleck?
No, it was going to be called The Has Been, and they
Oh.
changed it to The Way Back.
Yeah, that's a dumb change.
The
The
has been
would have
implies
been
he's-
better.
but doesn't that imply he's no longer? You know,
I think
like
it might
a
have
change has
taken
been made?
away people's opinion of them.
The way back sounds more like this guy's
It's a positive.
starting his journey.
Yeah.
Well, no, that like it's not the resolution. It's not the finish line. It's not
No.
he found his way back. It's It sounds more
making
like
his way
he's
back.
starting that journey.
Yeah.
You have to make this hard change. The has been sounds more like past tense. It sounds more like it's been resolved. Like he
Oh, I didn't think
like
of it
when the
that
movie starts, his drinking problem is no longer an issue, but he used to have it. Whereas from what you've said, it is a constant, or it's something he's struggling with right now. Just between
Right.
those titles, that's what that
That's
sounds like to me.
confusing. I mean, a has been is someone who used to be like all up and cool, which is what he was because he was a basketball star. I just gotta say, there's another thing I didn't mention. This movie has very strong like religious aspects of it. They're not overt, they don't resolve, but nothing resolves in this movie. So
That would
but
be my major issue, the religion in this movie.
yeah, I don't know. Is this a faith-based film? Like, if you
Mhm.
believe in Jesus, you can play basketball and make your life better and stop being an alcoholic? Is this an Alcoholics Anonymous
Did
thing?
Ben Affleck use a lot of that stuff in his personal life to conquer his problems? Maybe that's why.
I don't know
Some of
because
it
he
plays
shot
so
this
strong.
2 days after he got out of rehab. I don't know how that.
Yeah,
factors
he
in.
did.
insane.
That's
I
the most
can't believe-
interesting piece of trivia. Is
Yeah.
he shot it 2 days after getting out of rehab.
That's
And the director wanted to fire him and bring someone else in, but fucking his ex-wife is like, no, dude, he brought a basketball to fucking rehab. He's all about this fucking movie. You gotta do it. If it wasn't for
Jennifer
Elektra,
Garner.
we wouldn't have this. Yeah.
Whoa.
I mean, Ben Affleck is above this material.
So I feel like all the movies he's been doing lately, Triple Frontier, Jay and Silent Bob reboot, this. It's like we need to see him fucking Justice League. We need to see classic Affleck back, not
Yeah.
just I'll take anything for a paycheck.
Well, I think now that he's over drinking and gambling all the time, maybe if he's getting back on track, he can get back on track
Yeah.
with his career too.
Like
Really
his
sink
next
into the
movie
role.
that he's shooting right now, or was with the hiatus and whatnot happening for everyone. Him and Damon were getting together for a Ridley Scott movie where they're in medieval times, and I'm like, I don't fucking know what that's like, but I want to see that.
Yeah, that sounds
Ooh.
interesting. The way back pissed me off big time. Hardcore red light.
Hey,
Well,
you hear
I
that,
might
Reindeer
have-
Games?
Yeah.
I might have something that'll
I'm not
cheer
Ben
you up.
Affleck. You white, you Ben Affleck.
Why did you
Yeah.
give this a green light, Adam?
I honestly enjoyed it. I don't like basketball shit, but I honestly liked seeing this guy spiral out of control, and I liked the fact that it ended on such a downer, and we don't have resolution. I honestly liked it for the reasons you hated it, which is fucking wacky to me.
Interesting. I like that. We got a red and green light on the same movie.
I don't know if
That's-
mine was a green light or a yellow light, but
So
I
should
know
we
it was-
average? Should we average it out to a yellow?
No, you should have a bunch of like rednecks drive by in a pickup truck and shoot the light out with their pellet gun.
All right,
And
here we go.
just-
Here we go. All right, guys. What we have here is a good old-fashioned movie toast Mexican standoff. Audience, if you've seen this movie and you like it, tweet at us green light. If you hate it, tweet us red light. If not, if you don't know where to find us, we're on all social media at movie_toast. Get at us.
Dennis, would you like to tell us with you and your Spider-Man pillow co-host right there what you saw and how you doing?
Well, Spidey and I actually watched this together. Had watched the British 2018 film Await Further Instructions.
Did you guys sling any webs while watching this movie?
No, not that kind of movie. It wasn't that kind of time.
Damn.
To go with the isolation theme we had earlier, it is an isolated horror movie. Starts off in the Christmas time. This family getting together for the holidays. Our two main characters are driving through town. They pull up to the small family home. It's clear they haven't been here in a while. The son hasn't been here in a while, and he's bringing his girlfriend to meet his parents for the first time. She's not white. She's Indian, and you can tell the boyfriend's already like anxious that he's not looking forward to this, but she's really insisting that she meets his family.
Is this
Walking
Get
into the
Out?
house. No. This is another. What's interesting though is I feel like I could see they started to try to tap into that a little bit, but it's very different. Has more of a sci-fi twist than straight horror. So everyone's in the house. The first night, like they just get there. His sister, her husband are visiting as well. Her mom and dad, and then his dad's dad, his grandpa, that were all living in the same house. Or they're all staying here for the holiday. Already, they just start saying some racist shit to our main character's girlfriend, and several of them are just being complete dirtbags, and to the point to where the main character, he's telling his sister and his dad and his grandpa, "Fuck you," like to their faces.
Did it make the movie kind of hard to watch? Did you cringe a bit hearing this terrible like?
A couple of them a
happening?
little. The grandpa, I forget the actor's name.
He was Walder Frey in Game of Thrones. I was waiting for that opportunity. David Bradley.
Filch in the Harry Potter movie series.
Yes.
Which all I could think of was, here's Filch saying some fucking racist shit that he couldn't say at Hogwarts. But it was interesting. It had these tense moments. It built up in ways I kind of like, where there's this sense of something so much bigger happening all around you, but we can't see any of it. So yeah, they have their shitty first night. They decide, fuck this. We're just going to wake up in the early hours of the morning before the sun rises. You and I are just going to leave. We're not going to stay here. This sucks. Let's not even put ourselves through it. They pack their shit up. They get to the front door. Our guy opens the front door, and there's like this black metal screen blocking the front door. They run to the window. That window's blocked too. They start running to every window in the house. Every single window has this metal screen blocking it, and they can't pull it off. He finds an axe and starts hitting this metal screen with an axe, and it doesn't move. He wakes everyone else up in the house. He looks insane. So they're just like, what are you doing? And it's like, look at what's going on. Several of them are trying to open different places, and they notice in some of these screens there are like these metal pipes that are venting something into the house. They think the internet isn't working, the telephone lines aren't working, but they turn the TV on, and there's these weird symbols pop up, and then just this green text. At first it's just like stay in place, like stay in shelter for your own safety, and then await further instructions.
Await further instructions.
Yeah. Well, just things start getting steadily weirder. Like first they try to keep going on business as usual. It's like, fine, so we're just gonna hide out in the house. And I thought it was kind of a funny little quarantine vibe that they were going with. As soon as they're about to sit down for Christmas dinner, TV changes to a new message for the first time saying all of the food is poisonous, throw it all out. So they throw away the entire Christmas dinner.
Right as they're about to eat?
The father literally is about to start carving the turkey. He's about to bring the knife down to the turkey breast, and then
something fishy is going on here, I feel like.
Yeah, and it just keeps ramping up like that. And then it's like they get a message, there's toxins in the air, and this plastic bag of syringes falls down into the fireplace, and it says that it's this new vaccine, you were all supposed to take it. They all, and spoiler alert, they all
delivered it. Santa Claus?
It's like a dirty plastic bag. The girlfriend who's visiting, she works in a hospital, and she's used to working like in ER. So she's like, I'm not administering any of these shots. These are all dirty used needles. I can't verify what the stuff is. The dad's just like, no, this is the government. The government's telling us what to do. They have to know what's best for us. So he shoots his injection, and the rest of the family takes theirs. Grandpa, he's this old war vet. He's like, I'm not afraid of it. And he sticks the needle in his arm.
Oh.
2 minutes later, starts spitting blood all over the apartment, falls over and dies.
Suck
in the
it,
middle
Grandpa.
of everybody in the room. And it just keeps getting worse. Things just keep ramping up. People start dropping like flies. This is the other big spoiler. If in case you want to enjoy the movie, then skip this part. There's only the father, our main character, and the girl. They've found out that these metal screens that are surrounding the house aren't screens at all, but they're like tentacles. They're all of these metal fibrous cables that have covered every part of the house, and somehow this creature is also living inside of all of the TVs and has been watching them. So that's how these messages are always perfectly pertain to whatever's going on. It turns out it's all this one single creature. This creature needs people to survive. It's actually a parasite. So this creature has been spending the whole movie killing off everyone in the house, except for them to find out, oh, wait, it can't kill all of us. So they're able to fight back against it for a minute. See, that's funny. You guys are talking about movies with no resolution. This one does that pretty hard. I liked it up until the end. I have to give them some props, though, on the weird creature effects. There's a few shots where they do a lot of cool practical stuff that very much reminded me of the reverse dog tentacle scene from The Thing. It's all of the little tendrils are like flaying out of the side of the dog, and it's all going crazy. They do a lot of that kind of camera work, and it looks really good. The other special effects stuff, you could tell it was just very cheap. It's like an excellent student film, like an excellent feature-length student film, and that's about the best it'll ever be.
So you're saying don't
Did you like
this?
it?
It's you know what? It's a solid yellow for me, like a hard yellow. I really liked the idea. There were some really cool scenes, and I liked how they ramped up how they raised the bar.
Now, you had me all the ways up until you went to the spoiler talk. Now, I took my headset off. If you didn't know that was coming, like if that didn't happen at all, would you have liked this movie better or not really?
I would like to think I would have liked the movie better if it's kept with the weirdness
Lamp?
it was
Oh,
doing
okay.
with the TV and stuff, like the messages they were getting. I liked the mystery of not knowing what was there. Once you see it, I didn't really care anymore.
I'll tell you right now,
It lost all the momentum for me.
I didn't have a whole lot of interest in the movie to begin with, and then when you said the spoiler, I really didn't want to watch the movie. But that's just my own personal.
It sounds like rip-offs of other horror films up till the very end when it just gets bad.
I have to give them though. It is a lot of those other horror movies, but it's in a lot fewer locations, and they're able to kind of keep these scenes moving forward. And I like watching everyone get crazier.
Dennis, so it's a parasite, but it kills people?
Yeah, that's why. Like, I hate using this word too much, but there's logic in the movie that doesn't make sense. It establishes one thing and then just turns right around and breaks it and does something else. And I feel like that's what the end of the movie kind of does. It's like, oh yeah, shit, we've been making you watch this for 80 minutes. Let's wrap this up right now. And it's just, boom, it's done. And I kind of like,
oh yeah.
Well, that's
happens. Annoying when that happens.
But it's a great ride up until the end.
You know what this reminds me of? You know, a single drop of shit can ruin a bowl of cherries, but a single cherry can't make a bowl of shit any better. You ever heard of this?
I'd like to disagree with that. A bowl of shit's always tasty. Cherries might destroy it, but whoever thought that up should suck a bag of boobs.
They just haven't had enough cherries.
I'm just saying, Dennis, does the ending make it bad?
It's like the whole movie was decent. I wasn't a big fan of the ending. It doesn't ruin the movie, I don't think. If you don't like that kind of horror movie, you'll probably hate it. I like that kind of stuff, but I think it might have been better if some of it was tipped off a little earlier. We genre jump a tiny bit right at the end.
Gotcha. And what was this movie called?
Await further instructions. So do you got any tidbits for us there, Tommy?
Yeah, there's not a lot. The one I'm kind of merging a few of them together into one because they really talk about the same thing. So you find out in the movie the surname, the family's name is Milgram, and they live on Stanford Street. And there were two experiments done, the Milgram experiments and the Stanford prison experiments. So that was the trivia for this, that it was basically maybe like an homage or a shout out to with the Milgram and Stanford Street and stuff like that. So
it is very much those themes are heavy and just who tries to take control in the household.
And that's it for the trivia. The other
excellent
stickers.
And Tommy, what did you see this week?
Drain the Sunken Pirate City. So what National Geographic did is they had a series of documentaries on what would happen if they drained a certain ocean or water mass of some kind. This one in particular was the sunken pirate city known as Port Royal, which was called, quote, the wickedest city on earth. There is still a Port Royal in Jamaica that I would love to, that I might actually have to add that to my bucket list of a place I'd like to go visit sometime. So there was a massive earthquake on June 7th, 1692. And the earthquake was followed by a series of tsunamis. It consumed the city, the part of the city. And like the sand that was underneath turned into quicksand. The buildings and the houses and all this just literally sunk like 15 feet into the ground. And like over 2,000 people were killed. And so what this documentary did was they used some of the most advanced technology to take like pictures and sonar of the bottom of the Caribbean. How do you guys pronounce it? I know it's pronounced either way, but I say Caribbean. Yeah, I say Caribbean. They mapped out the floor of the Caribbean where this city was. And it's kind of like an Atlantis almost, or like they called it a modern day Sodom and Gomorrah, because it was like the Las Vegas of the 1600s, and all these pirates would go. It's such a crazy, cool backstory. Like the English hired the pirates to take charge of Port Royal and to use their ships, the pirate ships, to plunder and steal from the Spanish fleet. And so Port Royal was like the hub of where all the pirates would bring their treasures, and England would get 25% of what they plundered, and the pirates got to keep everything else for themselves, and they would go and bring it to Port Royal, kind of like in the Pirates of the Caribbean, the Tortuga that you see in the Pirates of the Caribbean. I think that would be a good representation, even though Pirates of the Caribbean also had a Port Royal. I think Tortuga was the more of what this actual Port Royal city was supposed to be like, evilest of the evil. And so they mapped it all out. You see 3D images, and you even see like them digitally take the water and just completely, like, it just goes, sucks up all the water, and you see the bottom of the ocean floor, and they're able to use this data to show you what the buildings look like, and then they're able to extrapolate what happened, what caused it, which was because I guess Jamaica is on a huge fault line, like one of the main fault lines that separates the Caribbean plate from the North Atlantic plate or something like that. And it goes right through the middle of Jamaica, more importantly, right through the middle of Port Royal, where Port Royal was. And so this earthquake was so massive, and it lasted so long, that it caused a tsunami. And because of where Port Royal is and surrounded by water, and then you have Jamaica on one side, and then the tsunami crashed into them, and then there was a rebound tsunami that crashed into them again, and you had the quicksand underneath all the places. It was just massive, like the worst thing that could ever happen to a city.
So
did they detail?
So detailed.
Did they detail the amount of time, like the frame of time this might have taken place in?
Yes. Yeah, they go into all that stuff in detail, and showing, like, they even found a pocket watch where the dial of the pocket watch was like seared and saved and preserved underwater at 11:43, and they said that it was there were survivors of this event that documented the event, and they said it took place just before noon. So when they found the pocket watch and it said 11:43, they're guessing that that's when the initial earthquake happened, was 11:43.
could this be like what's going to happen with California, possibly?
The earthquake that they're talking about for California is probably even bigger than what happened over there. The only difference is I don't think we would get a tsunami hitting. It would be
depends on where that epicenter is. If it was in the ocean, that very likely. But then Port Royal is built on more or less like a sandbar, right? There's no solid foundation underneath that city at all. And if you go to the modern day Port Royal, that's left over of what wasn't sunk, you can see they used like the map of the previous city and the one that's there now, and they were able to find some of the streets like continued on into where it was sunk. And so there's like a Queen Street that it goes right up to the water. It continues on for like another 300 feet. And then some of the other streets are like that too. They have a big sign on Port Royal that talks about the famous pirates that used to inhabit the city. Blackbeard was one of them. Remember I watched Blackbeard's Ghost?
Coming full circle.
Full circle. And then it talks about on the sign, it says that it was devastated by an earthquake. But this one, this documentary just goes into massive detail about everything. And it shows, I will say right now, you'll probably get sick and tired of seeing them recreate, because they show, it's one of those things where they only have certain amount of footage of the digital earthquake happening in the city. So when they show it, then they show it again. Then they show it again, and they show it again. And so it's like on repeat, because I think it was on TV. They didn't account for the commercials. So when they come back from a commercial, they show it again. And then when they were about to cut to commercial, they show it again. So it's like there's a lot of repeat renditions of the accident. But
Was
Yeah.
it fun though? Did you like it?
It was great. I love, as you can tell from my watching of Blackbeard's Ghost, I really like what caught me was the Pirate City, Port Royal, and you get to you actually, they give you a lot of testimony from survivors and people that wrote about living in Port Royal before. So there's a lot of testimony of people and what life was like, and how they said at one point there was a pub or bar, one bar or pub for every 3 residents, and there was like 8,000 people living in Port Royal. That's a lot of alcohol.
That's a lot of competition.
Alcohol. I mean, there was so much piracy, people coming and going in the city. Everybody profited in that town. Everybody. There wasn't a single like there was so many people there that they would like, a bar was never, oh, no one's showing up. No, everything was just packed. They said the streets of Port Royal were like the streets of London. When the earthquake happened, because it was so jam-packed and the streets were small, the buildings were tall, the people really had nowhere to go. And that's why so many people lost their lives, is when the buildings started to sink. It happened so fast that they couldn't get out of the building. It was either stay in the building and die, or leave the building and get crushed by the falling buildings around them.
And this was so long ago.
There was nowhere to go.
This was so long ago they didn't even know it was coming, probably, right?
Nope, nothing. No, the people in the documentary said the only foreshadow at all might have been that a rumbling from the hills of Jamaica across the port.
The gods are angry or something.
Oh no! Yeah, the gods, and that's what a lot of people from London, from England, when they heard about this, they're like, "Oh, that's God's way, man. That was the wickedest city on earth. God is sinking them to the bottom of the Caribbean."
Jesus is pissed. Look out!
Yep. And there's a lot of drain the sunken pirate city, drain Alcatraz, drain the Titanic, tons of them.
So this is a major green light?
Number of ships and submarines hidden beneath the waves. Oh, major green light. Go see it.
Anybody got anything else to cover before we
skedaddle?
Get on the fuck out of here.
Well, like always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on all your socials. movie_toast. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, Discord, YouTube. We really need people to like and comment. Go on iTunes, give us 1 star, give us 5 stars, leave a comment, tell us what you like, what you don't like. Just get at us. But everyone that's been with us, thank you for listening. It's been fun.
Yes. And that makes it sound like we're never coming back, Adam.
No,
I think the network's pulling the plug on us.
No, they are not.
We are the network.
Yeah,
we're gonna get one guy commenting on this episode, be like, "No, don't go, please."
And that's gonna be me.
Go.
I'll be writing it as myself. I'll be like, "What happened to this show?"
I'll be adding on to your comment. Yeah, go fine.
You guys all have a great night.
Bye-bye. Stay healthy.
Stay toasty.
A single drop of shit can ruin a bowl of cherries, but a single cherry can't make a bowl of shit any better.